Before we begin, please note that this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to substitute professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your physician or qualified health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition. Welcome to this lecture on drugs with additive risk. Additive side effects occur when multiple medications cumulatively produce toxicity that equals or exceeds the sum of individual drug effects, even when each agent is dosed within therapeutic ranges. These interactions are dose-dependent, organ system-specific, and amplified by patient risk factors such as age, genetics, and comorbidities. The key point here is that additive toxicity is predictable and preventable through systematic recognition. Let's discuss serotonergic toxicity. Serotonin syndrome risk increases when two or more serotonergic drugs are used together. Symptoms range from mild to severe and potentially fatal. Watch for autonomic dysfunction including diaphoresis and hyperthermia, altered mental status such as agitation and delirium, and neuromuscular excitation with tremor and rigidity. Drug classes involved include antidepressants, MAO inhibitors, opioids like tramadol and fentanyl, triptans, and natural products like St. John's wort. Remember the washout period, 2 weeks between drugs, or 5 weeks for fluoxetine. Now let's examine bleeding risk. Increased bleeding can occur with or without changes in anticoagulation monitoring parameters like INR. Generally, avoid using these drugs in combination, with a few exceptions such as aspirin for cardioprotection or occasional NSAID use. Drug classes that increase bleeding risk include anticoagulants like warfarin and the direct oral anticoagulants, antiplatelets including aspirin and clopidogrel, NSAIDs, SSRIs and SNRIs, and natural products known as the 5GS: garlic, ginger, ginkgo, ginseng, and glucosamine. Hyperkalemia is another critical additive risk. Symptoms include weakness, heart palpitations, and arrhythmia, with higher risk in patients with renal impairment. Key points to remember: do not use ACE inhibitors with ARBs, and do not combine sacubitril/valsartan with ACE inhibitors or ARBs. Drug classes involved include RAAS drugs, potassium-sparing diuretics, and others like salt substitutes containing potassium chloride. Always counsel patients to avoid salt substitutes and monitor potassium levels regularly. Ototoxicity presents as hearing loss, tinnitus, and vertigo. Importantly, it is often permanent and can progress even after drug discontinuation. Consider an audiology consult at the start of treatment for baseline assessment and continue monitoring throughout. Avoid using multiple ototoxic drugs simultaneously when possible. High-risk agents include aminoglycosides with 2 to 14% ototoxicity rate, cisplatin with 60 to 65% hearing loss, loop diuretics especially with rapid for administration, and vancomycin. Nephrotoxicity manifests as worsening renal function or acute renal failure, evidenced by decreased urine output and increased serum creatinine and BUN. For cisplatin, use amifostine to protect the kidneys. Maintain adequate hydration since dehydration worsens kidney function. Monitor drug levels for aminoglycosides, vancomycin, and tacrolimus. If acute renal failure occurs, discontinue the offending drugs. Key nephrotoxic agents include anti-infectives, calcineurin inhibitors, loop diuretics, NSAIDs, and radiographic contrast dye. Anticholinergic toxicity includes CNS depression with sedation, plus peripheral effects: dry mouth, dry eyes, blurry vision, constipation, and urinary retention. The highest risk is in elderly patients. Recommend alternatives to sedating antihistamines such as loratadine or cetirizine. Drug classes with anticholinergic burden include antidepressants and antipsychotics, sedating antihistamines like diphenhydramine, centrally acting anticholinergics, muscle relaxants, and antimuscarinics used for urinary incontinence. Hypotension and orthostasis result from additive vasodilation. This is critically important. PDE5 inhibitors combined with nitrates is an absolute contraindication. Do not use them together. Severe hypotension can be fatal, causing myocardial infarction or stroke. If a patient is taking a CYP3A4 inhibitor, start the PDE5 inhibitor at half the usual dose. With alpha blockers, start low and ensure the patient is stable before adding a PDE5 inhibitor. Remember the mandatory wait times: at least 24 hours after sildenafil or vardenafil, and at least 48 hours after tadalafil before giving nitrates. QD prolongation increases the risk of torsades de pointes and often fatal arrhythmia. Risk factors include higher doses, elderly patients over 60 years, cardiovascular disease, and using multiple QD prolonging drugs together. Limit use of QD prolonging drugs when possible. For SSRIs, do not exceed citalopram 40 mg daily or 20 mg in the elderly. Sertraline is considered the safest SSRI in patients with cardiovascular disease. Drug classes to watch include antiarrhythmics, anti-infectives like macrolides and quinolones, antidepressants, antipsychotics, and antiemetics like ondansetron. CNS depression produces somnolence, dizziness, confusion, cognitive impairment, and risk of falls and accidents. Counsel patients not to use alcohol and not to operate vehicles or machinery. The highest risk for fatality occurs when opioids are combined with benzodiazepines or other CNS depressants, including alcohol. Monitor for sedation and respiratory depression. Suggest alternatives for anxiety such as SSRIs or SNRIs, and for pain consider acetaminophen or NSAIDs when appropriate. For at-risk patients on opioids, recommend naloxone. Let's summarize the key takeaways. Additive toxicity is predictable and preventable. Always perform medication reconciliation, including over-the-counter drugs and supplements. Identify vulnerable patients such as the elderly and those with renal impairment. Implement organ-specific monitoring, audiometry, ECG, and renal function tests. Use minimum effective doses and minimize duration of therapy. This is important. Implement safeguards, including screening, protocols, and education to prevent irreversible harm. Please review and perform your own clinical analysis. Consult current guidelines.